Last episode we took over at Everton, and after spending 28 million on a new star winger, we had a great start, picking up 4 points from our opening 2 games. But with only a few days left in the window and still some areas of the team to improve, we've got a lot of work to do if we want to take this team back to the glory days. But as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. Now, last episode I put the question to you as to who you think should be the leading man for me up front. Would it be either Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or would it be the new signing Beto in real life from Portugal? Now, as you can see from the opening couple of games, Beto hasn't exactly impressed off the bench with only 1 appearance and a 5.6 rating. However, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been in sensational form, 3 goals and 2 assists in just 2 Premier League games, and clearly he may have been listening to the conversations that we've been having before. However, looking at your comments, I'm certainly getting some mixed reviews. For example, this one: although Dominic Calvert-Lewin has made a good impression in the first episode, in the near future Beto should definitely start between the two. Better potential and a lot of versatility. There's even some suggestions to bring in a completely new striker, perhaps in Sesko from RB Leipzig, as he's pretty decent in most stats. He's got great potential and is very tall, so can score any crosses you'll be playing in under your wing play tactic. However, I'm then also getting some other comments suggesting that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is amazing in career modes, so I should really keep him up top. So to be honest, when it really comes down to it, although Beto does have a better overall rating by 3, and although he is 1 year younger, I cannot lie with the stats and I cannot lie with the start that this man Dominic Calvert-Lewin has made. However, what I think I will do is I will probably have to put a post out there and get you guys to decide between the two of them, and hopefully then you can make a proper decision as to who will officially be my starting striker. Now, in terms of my next question to you, it was all about who you think should be playing in the central attacking midfield position. Now, as you can see at the moment, I've got Decore playing there right now, and whilst in terms of his stats he's not exactly the most exciting looking player, he's pretty average right across the board, I cannot really argue once again with the stats and the start he's made to the season. Just 2 games in and already he's racked up 2 assists and a 7.7 rating. However, the big question was, should I consider trying to revive the career of this man Dele Alli, once a former wonder kid both for Spurs and England? Now at 27 years of age and only 74 rated, his career has begun to slide. Or even should I go one step further and try and use up this only £15 million budget I've got to try and bring in a brand new central attacking midfielder? So once again, I put the question to you in a poll on my channel, and oh my word, it was an absolute landslide victory for Dele Alli. And despite the fact he's only got 10 months left on his contract, all of you pretty much want me to make Dele Alli the main man here in this Everton team and to do whatever I can to try and revive his former England career. And so that means, in spite of Decore's brilliant performances in the opening 2 games, he will lose his starting spot. Dele Alli will come in that position behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. I'm going to change his development plan to be focused on being a playmaker to try and improve his weak foot, and he's now going to get the perfect opportunity to try and see if he can win one more Everton contract, but more importantly, try and revive what was once a fantastic career. Now, speaking of that £15 million budget, with my squad still clearly in need of some improvements right across the board, I've taken some inspiration from some of your suggestions, the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe, Tommaso Baldanzi, Magno, Zorgane, perhaps even Mudryk from Chelsea, Sesko of course from RB Leipzig, and also the young left-back and centre-back Ural Hato. However, as you can see with all of these players, I am still waiting to get back all of my scout reports, so I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer before I make a decision as to whether or not I'm going to dive back into the transfer market. And with the likes of Derby County away in the Carabao Cup and Wolves at home in the league before I'm likely to get those scout reports back, we are going to jump straight into the footballing action this episode. And it is a fairly solid start, very much helped by the fact that Derby got 2 men sent off in the first half. Beto strikes, he's at the double to secure an easy path to the next round as we beat Derby County 2-0. And fortunately enough, we follow that up with another victory to maintain our unbeaten start so far this season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Danjuma both getting the goals, as it's another 2-1 win, this time at home to Wolves. 3 games played and 7 points on the board. Everton Football Club, can you believe it, are top of the Premier League table. It may not last for much longer, but we will enjoy this moment while it does. With my scout reports finally coming in on all of those shortlisted players, it's time for me to have a think who I'm going to spend this £15 million budget on. Now, starting off with Emile Smith-Rowe, while I think he would be an absolutely fantastic addition, with me just bringing in another winger to play on the right-hand side, and with him being £20.6 million, I don't think he's going to be a potential option I'm going to be able to bring in this season. Tommaso Baldanzi is another one who I think could be a really interesting addition. He's got bags of potential, and already being 78 rated and just 20 years of age, plus he offers us versatility in the cam and centre forward positions, but like Emile Smith-Rowe, with him being £30.7 million asking price, I think that's going to be a bit of a stretch in our budget. Tales Magno is another one who offers us a great deal of versatility, and at 21 years of age and 73 rated, he's got loads of potential to grow and develop, plus the fact he could only be purchased for about £6 million. He could definitely definitely fit into my transfer budget. However, with him now moving to Bayern Leverkusen, would he want to give that up for Everton? I'm not quite sure he would. Similar to him, Adem Zorgane also offers us a lot of potential, and at 23 years of age has loads of room to grow and develop. Plus, he does have versatility both in the centre of the park and central defensive midfield, as well as that I would be able to get him in, as he's only being asked for about £10.4 million. However, with me having the likes of the 22-year-old Amadou Onana and the other 22-year-old James Garner beginning to form a solid partnership right in the centre of the park for me, I'm not quite sure this is a position I need right at this moment in time. Mudryk, much like Emil Smith-Rowe, I think could be a really fantastic addition, and with him only being about £15.4 million, he might be able just to be able to be negotiated below that £15 million budget. However, with him joining Chelsea in recent times for about £80 million, once again, I'm not quite sure they want to get rid of the young Ukrainian immediately, and certainly not offload him to Everton. I agree about Benjamin Sesko. He's tall, he's powerful, and he could potentially be an absolutely world-class striker, and he could fit into my system perfectly. However, with the ongoing discussion of this man, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and his competitor, Beto, again, it's another position that I think I'm pretty well stocked in at the moment, and perhaps it's not something that I need to improve right now. So with that in mind, it looks like all of the pieces in the puzzle are finally starting to fall into place for one specific transfer. He's a man who perfectly fits into my philosophy of bringing in the best young and up-and-coming talent, and at just 17 years of age, he already has racked up 30 appearances for Ajax. That is right, it is official. It is time to make my second signing of the summer. Jurel Hato will join Everton Football Club from Ajax for £6.25 million. I mentioned midway through last episode that Vitaly Mikalenko was the only left-back that I had in the squad, so I think it makes perfect sense to bring someone in who not only can play at left-back but also centre-back as well, and with him being just 17 years of age, already 73 rated, and having that something special, I'm going to change his development plan to be focused solely on becoming a left-back, and I am really excited to see what this young man might be able to bring to Everton Football Club. And with us facing off against Sheffield United in our very next game at Bramall Lane, he is going to get the opportunity to try and impress with immediate effect. And whilst Dominic Calvert-Lewin does retain his place up front, as for the rest of the team, Jordan Pickford of course starts in goal, Patterson on the right, Tarkowski and Branthwaite in the centre, and of course it is that man Jurel Hato who will make his debut. Onana and Garner start in midfield, Bakayoko on the right, Danjuma on the left, and of course Dele Alli will be starting in the cam position behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin as he attempts also to try and put in a decent performance and resurrect his career. Koulibaly for Sheffield United to start us off here, and Branthwaite comes out aggressively and wins the ball back really well. That is exactly what I would want from my young centre-back, and he's going to play it out to another young left-back in Hato for his first touch in an Everton shirt. Brings it in field for Onana. Onana goes for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin shifts it onto his right. He's just looking for some sort of option, and he finds Bakayoko on the right-hand side. I'm going to wait and look for the overlap here. I tried to find the overlap. It was really poor. It's not the sort of start to this game I was hoping to make. Robinson for Sheffield United. Into Jaden Bogle. He's blocked off though by Danjuma. Has done a really good job of winning the ball back, and now he can drive forward here. Danjuma, brilliant stuff from the young man. Dominic Calvert-Lewin now going to try and feed the ball right the way across. What a fabulous ball it is into Bakayoko. He continues his run. Has he managed to keep it in? Yes, he has. Tried to drag it back into the running path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Couldn't quite get there though. Jaden Bogle. Out to Robinson on the right-hand side, feeds it back down the line into Bogle. Into Koulibaly now for Sheffield United as they look to try and see if they can pull on an attack here, but Onana wins it back really nicely and feeds it into that man Dele Alli. Look at him go here, tries to drive down the centre and finds a ball out to Bakayoko. Perfect stuff here, Bakayoko onto his left. Is he going to try and line up a strike? Yes, he is. It's a brilliant one, but just wide. James Garner. Out to Patterson on the right-hand side. It's been all Everton so far in the opening 20-25 minutes here as Bakayoko goes down this side again. He's been heavily involved. He feeds it back into Garner. Garner across into Danjuma who strikes. What a save. Really good stuff here from Everton. We are taking the game to Sheffield United in the hope that we can try and break the deadlock. It's fed across though. No one can get on the end of it. Bakayoko will win it on the edge of the box. Feeds it back out to Danjuma. Going to throw it back into the box looking for James Garner on the back post. Can't reach him. It's trying to one there by Onana and eventually it's cleared away by Sheffield United. Sheffield United have a free kick and this is their first real foray into my half here as Brewster's going to try and line this one up and he throws it in, and my word, in the end it was on target and forced Pickford into a save. He made it look relatively easy. It was a bit of a hairy moment there for us at the back. Hato with the throw. Into Danjuma. He goes all the way back to Branthwaite. That wasn't exactly the pass I was looking for, and Branthwaite though brings it back forward and ends up losing it to Danny Garcia. It's really poor, but Branthwaite comes across, doesn't put a decent enough challenge in, and now Brewster can bring it forward for Sheffield United. Oh my word, it's bundling all over the place, and then in the end they just blaze their strike over. Well, it's been a 0-0 first half here, as you can see. Neither team really able to break the deadlock. We had the better chances in the early part of the half, but Sheffield United managed to get themselves back into it in the second half. Hopefully Dele Alli will look to try and arrest the lack of creativity on our side as we look to start the second half. Tarkowski out to Patterson on the right-hand side. He brings it in field. Nice little ball into Bakayoko, who's been the most heavily involved, tried to strike it. Got it all wrong, and he hasn't really had the immediate impact so far since joining in the summer that I was hoping for as Dele Alli tries to press high, doesn't end up winning it back. Yeah, so I've got to try and see if there's more that I can do with Bakayoko to try and get the best out of the young man. But for now, it is Sheffield United's opportunity to try and bring the ball forward into Holler. Holler now turns, feeds it back into Danny Garcia, who strikes. It's good block from Branthwaite. Dele Alli looking for an option here. I'm going to try and see if I can feed this one over. It's a poor ball from Dele Alli. Expect better from the young man in those sorts of positions. Koulibaly into Vinny Souza now for Sheffield United. Danny Garcia has it in a nice little pocket of space. Hollerhow brings it back into the pot of Danny Garcia, who strikes into the arms of Pickford. Danjuma, we are on the hour mark here, and again, neither team are able to break the deadlock. It's a lovely ball over from Anana, looking for Danjuma, but couldn't quite find him. It was good defending in the end there from Jayden Bogle, and eventually he manages to bring the ball clear and out of defence. Danny Garcia with a midfield splitting pass into Brewster. He's under a bit of pressure, but manages to wriggle away from it. Danny Garcia has it again. This is really good stuff here from Sheffield United. Feeds it out to the left-hand side to Larouche. He's going to try and see if he can get a ball into the box. It's blocked off by Patterson, but he keeps the ball alive. Patterson tussling with him. Really good defending, and a lovely little ball into the path of Bakayoko, who can now try and stretch his legs down this right-hand side. He has the pace to continue his run. Instead, he's going to try and check back inside and feeds a ball into James Garner. He now tries to run down this right-hand side, doesn't have any options whatsoever, and that has pretty much been the story of this game so far. Every single attack we've tried to bring forward has been stifled, and in the end, Sheffield United will try and block us off. Go for the counter-attack, but we win it back again. Bakayoko now tries to go down the right-hand side, yet again cuts it inside, and it's just our final ball. It's been really poor. Both teams really struggling with the quality here today. There's just 5 minutes remaining on the clock here. I have made a few substitutions to try and see if I can inject some life into this game, but just as I've done that, Sheffield United unlock my defence, and it's Holler who finds himself in a lovely little pocket of space inside my penalty area, and he strikes to give Sheffield United the lead here. Well, look at the crowd. They've gone absolutely wild. We made some substitutions, but unfortunately it had a negative impact. Our defence completely fell asleep, and he was just left open with a brilliant opportunity, and with his left foot powered a wonderful strike past Pickford, who had no chance. Sheffield United lead 1-0. A goal in the 87th minute, and now we've got to try and find something from absolutely nothing here. We've got to try and see if we can find a way back into this game to at least get an equaliser here. So frustrating as Patterson tries to come across. He's hacked down by the left back. Sheffield United win it back. We are now deep into stoppage time, and they have possession, and we do not look like we are able to get it off them. McBurney into Garcia. Sheffield United going to try and see if they can double their lead here. Goes out wide into Holler. The referee blows for full time. Well, it's such a disappointing result here at Bramall Lane against a team that we really should be expected to beat. But it's that man's goal that proved to be the difference here today. As we succumb to our first defeat of the season, it's Sheffield United 1, Everton 0. Well, to be fair, I think it's a little bit harsh and unfair to say that we're stuck in a rut, considering that was our one and only defeat so far this season. But it's a defeat that sees us slip from our top place position, and in the early stages of this season, we've already been knocked out of the Champions League and Europa League spots as we slip down to 6th place. Unfortunately, Dele Alli wasn't exactly giving us that forward thrust that I was hoping for from the 27-year-old Englishman. Perhaps it is going to be quite a few games before we see the best out of him, as it has been quite a while since he's racked up a series of games. As for the debutant Yoel Hato, I think he can be fairly pleased with his opening performance in an Everton shirt. Didn't exactly set the world alight, and frustratingly for him, was unable to keep a clean sheet, but I am hoping that he is going to provide some stiff competition for this man moving forward for the remainder of the season, and I'm hoping at just 17 years of age, he has plenty of opportunity to grow and develop. Now, in the first episode, I touched upon this incredible youth academy that I have stumbled across, specifically with the likes of Thomas Niemi, who's got a potential rating of 93, and of course, the potential successor to Jordan Pickford in goal, Jack Fletcher, who just 16 years of age, already has the potential to be 94. However, with me enlisting the help of some of the best young scouting talents across Europe, I mentioned I didn't want to limit my talent pool and only look at my own youth academy. So what I am going to do is I'm going to set up some scouts right across Europe. Of course, I am going to stick to England to begin with. With us having a decent pool of French-speaking players, it is France that's going to be the next place that I'm going to try and see if I can unlock some talent. And finally, with the likes of Amadou Onana and Johan Bakayoko both showing they have the potential to be world-class superstars, for my third and final scout, I'm going to send him off to Central Europe, more specifically specifically to Belgium to try and see if he can find the very next Belgian world-class talent. For now, though, it is time to return back to the football and return back to Goodison Park for what is going to be a monumental clash at home in front of our fans against the North London Giants Arsenal. The fans are already excited for what is probably going to be the biggest game so far of the season. Mo Salah has made the unlikely switch to Arsenal. What a game we potentially have on our hands. And speaking of surprises, there aren't really any surprises to my starting 11. It is the usual starting 11 for me. Hato, of course, retains his place at left back. The only real change is that McNeil plays on the left-hand side instead of Danjuma, who drops to the bench due to a bit of fatigue. Of course, Dele Alli looks to try and see if he can play his way into some form as he starts behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. Here we go then, what is going to be definitely the toughest game of the season so far, but my word, what a huge surprise. Mo Salah playing for Arsenal Football Club. You never would have thought you would have seen it. A side from EAFC 24. Ben White for Arsenal. Almost all of the players, all of my players for sure, inside my own half as we try and see if we can defend from this man, Mo Salah. He shifts it onto his left and plays a ball into Odegaard. Turns really nicely into Gabby Jesus. Out to Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey strikes and puts it wide. Nice short pass into Garner, who just overran it a little bit and gives it away in a really dangerous position there. But Tarkowski comes across. Really good defending from the Englishman. And now Dele Alli, that man, can try and release a ball down the left-hand side. He looked for the run of Dwight McNeil. Eventually did manage to find him. And Dele Alli continue his run into the box. He can, but he's blocked off. Instead, it's Hato with the overlap into a really good position. Plays it into Dele Alli, and he hits it. But it hits against the defender and is beaten away for Arsenal. Patterson with the throw goes short into Garner, who found a really nice pocket of space there in the midfield. Into Bakayoko now. This has been a really ding-dong battle here in the opening 15 minutes as Dominic Calvert-Lewin drags it wide. Oh my word, it was a huge opportunity and an even bigger miss. He had loads of time to pick his spot and he didn't. Dragged the shot wide, and look at the disappointment on his face. Ben White down the right-hand side finds that man, Mo Salah, the danger man, who's yet to really had an impact on this game so far, but he's found a nice ball into Odegaard. Lovely pass into Thomas Partey, who struck straight at Jordan Pickford. Thomas Partey into Martinelli. Arsenal trying to see if they can unlock this stubborn Everton defence as Thomas Partey now tries to find a ball back into Martinelli. Nice little 1-2 between the two of them, but Tarkowski again, he's had a fine game so far with another big challenge into Bakayoko. He's going to try and bring it forward. Garner plays a lovely 1-2 into the path of Bakayoko, and look at the space he's got to run into here. He's got the beating of Mendy, cuts it back onto his left, goes to strike. What a strike, good save. My word, what an end-to-end opening 40 minutes here we've had at Goodison Park. Neither team able to break the deadlock, but both teams have had ample opportunity to do so as Ramsdale makes himself big and collects the ball well. It's Odegaard for Arsenal down the line, of course, into that man Mo Salah, and he does a lovely little step over into the pass of Gabby Jesus. He's been blocked off though again by Tarkowski. Brilliant, brilliant defending. Mo Salah for Arsenal, driving into my box here, unopposed. Garner though with a brilliant challenge, and now Bakayoko is released. He doesn't have any options whatsoever though, so I'm just going to have to hold the ball up and try and wait for someone to join him up front. But Dele Alli picks it up, and Dele Alli loses it in a really dangerous position, and now Mo Salah wins it into Gabby Jesus. He tries to go past Branthwaite. He does go past Branthwaite into Mo Salah, and it's Tarkowski again to potentially a man of the match performance from the young man. Ben White with a good pass into the feet of Martin Odegaard. Back out wide now to Mo Salah. Hato, though, one-on-one with him, and he's had him in his pocket all game, really. The Egyptian has had absolutely no luck down that left-hand side. Martinelli now has it for Arsenal, but just as I say that, Mo Salah now has crept in, and Mo Salah has given Arsenal a 1-0 lead. Well, there I was talking about the defensive performance of the 17-year-old, but perhaps a little naivety crept in there. Mo Salah just got round in front of him unopposed, and when you give that man that much time and space, he will make you pay. Wasn't the best finish, to be fair, was straight down the pipe, but Jordan Pickford couldn't do enough, and Arsenal lead 1-0. Short one into Garner, manages just to win it back from Thomas Partey, but he's under a bit of pressure here. This Arsenal press is relentless, and now Tarkowski ends up losing the ball in a really dangerous position. Gabby Jesus, his Branthwaite comes across, and he gives away a penalty, and surely we can have absolutely no argument about that. He complains to the referee, but I've got to be honest, looking at it, it was a stonewall penalty. Tried to make the ball, didn't get anywhere close to it. Yes, Gabby Jesus went down like a sack of spuds, but it will make no difference. It was a stonewall penalty, and now Arsenal, although they're making a substitution, of course it's going to be Mo Salah who's going to step up to take it. Mo Salah does take, but it's saved by Jordan Pickford, and the Englishman keeps us in the game here. Dele Alli into Dwight McNeil. Can we try and see if we can hit Arsenal on the counter-attack? It is Dele Alli down this left-hand side. Has he got the beating of anyone for pace in? No, he doesn't have the beating of Saliba, and the Frenchman does a really good job of winning it back from him and bringing it out of defence. Dwight McNeil down the line into Hatto. What a ball into the Dutchman. And now he's going to try and see if he can drive down this left-hand side. Has he got anyone in the box, though? No one is getting in there in the end. He ends up smashing it against Saliba. And it's a chance that's gone begging. Decore on as a sub finds a lovely ball into Onana. Onana through the legs into Beto. Really nicely done here. Decore picks it up and Decore strikes. Forces Ramsdale into a smart stop. Onana now picks it up in midfield. Into James Garner. Garner's going to play it out to Danjuma on the left-hand side. Danjuma into Beto. Beto takes it. Another big save from Ramsdale. And that is 2 saves in quick succession to keep the North London club in the lead. Patterson now has it into Harrison. It is full steam ahead here for Everton as we desperately try and see if we can find an equaliser. Onana blazes it against the defenders, but Beto keeps it alive deep into stoppage time. Harrison now has it. Can he try and see if he can find a ball in the box? Instead goes himself, and Ramsdale again with his 3rd big save. Well, we are well and truly deep into stoppage time. This is certainly going to be the last attack of the game. Harrison throws it in, looking for the head of Tarkowski, headed away by Mendy, only out as far as Martinelli, and the referee blows for full time. Well, we gave it a really good go in the final 10 minutes, but unfortunately for us, it was too little too late as Jordan Pickford looks to the ground in disappointment. That man Mo Salah made the huge switch to Arsenal at the start of the transfer window, and he has come to bite us, which I'm sure all of the Liverpool fans will be absolutely delighted about. Full time here, it finishes Everton 0, Arsenal 1. And yes, whilst there is quite a decent gulf between the quality of the two teams, it must be said that Ramsdale's triple save at the end did absolutely wonders and certainly secured Arsenal the 3 points. And frustratingly for us, it is another loss, and it's one that now drops us into 8th place as we start to form a position in mid-table, which, to be fair, is probably where we belong at this point in time. Barring 1 or 2 mistakes, James Tarkowski certainly did help us, though, keep the score just at 1-0. A fantastic performance from the veteran Englishman. But unfortunately, just when I was going to say the same thing about the young Dutchman, Jorel Hatto, he showed a little bit of naivety and a little bit of lack of concentration right in the worst possible timing as Mo Salah, the wily Egyptian, got in ahead of him and managed to arrest the 3 points for Arsenal. But now, as we see if we can try and get back in the win column over the next few games, we do manage to secure another 3 points, this time courtesy of a 2-1 away win against Brentford. Dele Alli must be so frustrated. He missed a penalty in the 35th minute, but Beto came on as a substitute and he scored 2 goals to give us a much needed win. But it's a win that is frustratingly backed up with a loss, and it's a loss to Sunderland 5-4 on penalties, which means that we get knocked out of the Carabao Cup. We're back in the win column though, courtesy of a very late goal from Dominic Calvert-Lewin to give us another 3 points, 2-1 at home to Luton Town. But the inconsistency continues as despite a late goal from Patterson, it is only enough to secure 1 point as we draw at home to Bournemouth 2-2. But despite our up and down momentum, we are still chugging along pretty nicely in the league table, up to 6th place with 14 points on the board, and we are just 1 point behind Spurs in the final Champions League spot. However, with the mighty Liverpool up next at Anfield, is this positive momentum about to come to a very, very abrupt end? 2 huge rivals that are going to go head to head and face off here in front of an electric crowd, as we are going to see in my very first derby if we can collect the 3 points. And there's only going to be one change from the team that unfortunately picked up a 1-0 loss against Arsenal, and that is Mikalenko coming in at left back with Hatto dropping to the bench. With such a big game, I need as much experience as I can get on the pitch, and so this is a team that I think can do the business here today. So here we go then. This is a Liverpool, as we know, without Mo Salah, without their best player. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they perform here today. They are still doing pretty well in the league, up to 3rd, I believe so. But if we are ever going to do the business here against them at Anfield, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Now, Bakayoko has it on the right-hand side, plays a lovely ball into Garner. Garner now is going to try and go into the centre here. He manages to wriggle his way into the box, strikes, big save from Alisson. Bakayoko will take the resulting corner and he fires it in, looking for the head this time, and Tarkowski, it's bounced around. In the end, Endo manages to get it clear. Garner, though, out to McNeil. It's been a fabulous start here. It's Anfield as Bakayoko brings the ball out to the left-hand side, fires it back in, looking for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Headed away, though, by the Liverpool defence. McAllister into Harvey Elliott now. Surely he's going to try and look for an overlapping run. Luis Diaz, though, finds an unmarked McAllister, and he tries to go past Tarkowski. Yet again, the Englishman with a brilliant challenge. 2 brilliant challenges. He's bundled over, though, and eventually loses the ball to Darwin Núñez. McAllister back into Harvey Elliott now. Can he see if he can find a ball into the box to Luis Diaz, who strikes, puts it wide. Nathan Patterson down the line into Bakayoko, who turns really nicely, does a really good job playing it forward into the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. A lovely little layoff there into James Garner, and James Garner now into the box, across into Bakayoko. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and it is Dele Alli, the man, the myth, the legend, the former wonder kid that is Dele Alli, finally sparks his Everton career into life, and my word, what a time to do it at Anfield against our arch rivals Liverpool. Dele Alli has stepped up and put himself in the right place at the right time to fire into an empty net to give Everton a 1-0 lead here at Anfield. Oh my word, what a time to get your first goal of the season. His form has been so poor, he just hasn't been able to buy a goal, but in front of the Liverpool fans, you could not write a script any better than this. Patterson now down the line. We really have the bit between our teeth here, and this man Dele Alli certainly has as well, but unfortunately the pass just got away from him there. He was looking for a ball into Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Unfortunately, he just lost his head at the vital moment. Into Darwin Núñez now. Look at the man who has, he's got the space here, drives into the box, and just, well, he should have perhaps absolutely smashed it. Look how furious Klopp is. McAllister with a short corner finds Thiago. Thiago's blocked off, though, by Dwight McNeil. And Dwight McNeil has won that ball really fairly, and now he can try and bring it out of defence into Dele Alli, who's hacked down there by Virgil van Dijk. Surely the Dutchman will at least get a yellow card here. What is the referee going to brandish here? He's calling him over. He's calling him over. And he does give him a yellow card. To be honest, I think he can be pretty lucky to get away with that one. Let's have a look at the replay. Well, he goes right through the back of him, and I'm not quite sure he gets the ball. Darwin Núñez again for Liverpool, turns Tarkowski really nicely, but Branthwaite this time comes across. Really good defending from the Englishman. Dele Alli, of course, picks it up again. He is looking in fine form so far in the opening 40 minutes here at Anfield. Mykolenko tries to go down the left-hand side, but it's a good challenge from Alexander-Arnold. McAllister now for Liverpool. McAllister strikes, blazes it over. Well, we've got 45 minutes here to try and hold on to this 1-0 lead and hold on to what will be a memorable and historic win here at Anfield. Tarkowski. Short into Garner. Garner out to Patterson. Patterson goes back in the centre. Really nicely done. And what a ball here into Bakayoko. And the young man has acres of space to run into here. Can he find a ball on his right? He does. But it's well saved in the end. And Virgil van Dijk hacks it clear. Dele Alli picks it up again. We really do have the bit between our teeth at the start of this second half. McNeil into Mykolenko. Back across to McNeil. Fires it in. I was looking for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who was absolutely nowhere to be seen. Luis Diaz to try and bring this one through the midfield. And he's gone past Patterson like he's not even there. And he's cut inside. Where on earth is my defence here? A shocking display, and he done it again here. Luis Diaz is absolutely driving his team forward. Patterson comes across, can't put the challenge in. Darwin Núñez into the box here. He's held off, and is that a penalty? Or is the referee blown for a corner kick? No, he hasn't. He's blown for a goal kick, much to mine and all the fans' relief. Branthwaite goes short into Onana, really nicely done. McNeil tried to turn it around the corner, but Alexander-Arnold read it really nicely. And now Liverpool have space down this right-hand side. McAllister into the box, looks for Darwin Núñez. In the end, it's easy for Pickford. James Garner. Nice pass into Tarkowski. The centre-back finds himself in an unlikely foray forward here, but as you can see, he has absolutely no idea what to do with the ball. Garner now has it. Into the centre to Dele Alli. Dele Alli goes back, looking for Onana. Onana turns it round the corner into Mykolenko. He goes down the left-hand side into Dwight McNeil, and now he can try and bring the ball forward into Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Endo was there. Good defending from the Liverpool man. Williams for Liverpool. Brilliant stuff to get away from the challenge, and now Darwin Núñez is going to try and see if he can release him down the left-hand side. Branthwaite come across, though, really nicely. Dominic Calvert-Lewin back into Dele Alli, who turned really well. Has he got the pace to drive forward here? No, he doesn't, but instead I'm going to try and feed a ball through into James Garner. A brilliant, brilliant piece of play. Bakayoko has it. Bakayoko strikes wide. Well, with 77 minutes on the clock, Dele Alli is going to make his way off the field to absolute rapture from the Everton fans. It's been a terrific display from the Englishman, and is this the display that can finally kickstart his career at Everton Football Club? Luis Diaz for Liverpool. With just over 10 minutes remaining, though, they're going to try and see if they can find a way back into this game, as Jota smashed it against Pickford, and Patterson just about gets there before it goes out for a corner. Bakayoko tried to turn, ended up losing it in a really dangerous position here. Jota challenged by Branthwaite, though, and now Garner can try and see if he can play his way out of trouble here. Garner brings the ball out to Dwight McNeil down the left-hand side, and look at the space now he's got to drive into. Has he got the pace to get away from Alexander-Arnold? No, he doesn't. Well, 90 minutes is upon us now. We are into stoppage time. Dwight McNeil has a free kick in a very dangerous position. Can he do an absolute miracle? No, he can't. I was going to hope to try and see if he can pull off a wonderful free kick and definitely win the game for us, but Liverpool now have it deep into stoppage time, but the referee blows for full time. Look at the players, they're absolutely delighted. They know how much this victory means, not just to our league position, but also to the fans as well. As at full time here at Anfield, it finishes Liverpool 0, Everton 1. Well, my word, Dele Alli, he's played 7 times so far this season in the Premier League, and he is yet to score until he stepped up at Anfield for a memorable goal to give us a 1-0 lead. and hopefully to reignite what was once a wonderful potential career. It's a win that drags us into the Champions League spots with just 9 games played as we sit just 1 point behind our arch-rivals Liverpool. And with Dele Alli's career well and truly having lift-off here at Everton Football Club, that brings an end to what has been a fabulous episode. So thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.